Good morning, year 2. Today we are having a writing recap, a writing revision in order to avoid any repeated mistakes that we always do in our writing. So I want you to focus well and read every word written in the presentation. How can I make my writing better? Of course, sometimes when I write, there are some mistakes that I might do and it's very easy to avoid them. Today we are going to know how. So let's remember first, what do we write? When we write a story, we have some rules we have to follow. But before we remember the rules, I want you to remember what are the stories that we write. We write real life stories, and real life stories we all know that are stories that are real, that have real characters and setting. Fantasy stories, it is related more to magic and unreal events. And the third type, we're having personal recount. And as we all know, a personal recount, it's something that it's related to me, a story that happened to me, events happened to me. So how do I write a story? Any story, any piece of writing we write, it should has a title. The second thing, we should have characters and settings. Characters, who are the people in the story, and settings, what is the time of the story and where does the story takes place. And we having paragraphs. We should have a beginning, middle and end. And also we should have interesting ideas and details. And of course, I'm saying something in the past, so I will write in the past tense. Writing paragraphs. So I want you to focus here. Writing a paragraph, you don't have to write 100 sentences, but you cannot write only 4 sentences. We should write in details. We should write interesting ideas to let the reader who is reading your writing is interested in reading more of the story. So we're having, as we said, 3 main important paragraphs: beginning, middle and end. So let's remember, what do we have in the beginning? In my beginning, or the first paragraph, it's not a long paragraph, it's just a small introduction to my story, to what I'm going to say. I'm introducing the characters of the story. I'm mentioning where and when does the story take place. And whenever I'm starting any paragraph, whether it's beginning, middle, or end, I should leave a space before I start. How? We are going today to write a story about a trip to the zoo. It's a personal recount about you, that you went to the zoo with your family. So this is my beginning. I left a space here at the beginning, as you see, and I started. Yesterday, my family and I went to the zoo to see lots of different and exciting animals. Okay, so now, when does the story take place? When? The time? It's yesterday. Who are the characters? It's my family and I. Where did we go? We went to the zoo. Why? To see lots of different and exciting animals. So, there is who, where, when, and why. So, my introduction, or the beginning, or the first paragraph in the story, it's just an introduction that's having who, what, where, when, and why. after the beginning, I have the middle. What do I have in the middle? I'm retelling or narrating everything that happened in the story, all the events, all the details. So there are interesting events and details and everything that had happened in the story, and I'm describing the characters and the settings. For example, I could say the boy was wearing um, a red jumper and yellow trousers, and the girl had the long hair. So here I'm describing the characters. I can describe, for example, the zoo. The zoo had many um, interesting animals, or there was a lovely park with colorful flowers. So I'm adding adjectives. Adjectives make my sentences interesting. So you have to add adjectives. Dialogue, like when people are talking together, I add speech marks to show that there are some characters are speaking in the story. And I have to use the time words. Like first, what did we do? Next, then, after, finally. So let's move to the middle part. Again, I started a new paragraph, so I have to leave a space. So when we arrived at the zoo, we went to the shop to buy some food for the animals. So here I'm starting to retell or write in details. What did I do exactly? Everything I have done. So when we arrived, we went to the shop to buy some food for the animals. Then here I used a time word. We went to the giraffe house. I fed the giraffe some leaves. So where did I go? What did I do? Then we're still in the same paragraph, so no more space. Before lunch, we went for a ride on horse. It was brilliant, it was exciting, it was funny, it was scary, as you like. I love how fast the horse was. After lunch, we fed some birds in the park. So can you see? Can you see how many things I have said in the events? I I'm trying to make my writing better, interesting, not boring. Instead of saying, when we arrived at the zoo, I fed the animals and I was very happy, and that's it. Do you think it's interesting or boring? So after the middle, we have the last paragraph, which is the end. So the end is short like the beginning. I'm just saying how the story ended, how the characters felt, was it good or bad. So the last paragraph, at the end of the day, here I started again a new paragraph, so I left a space at the beginning. And I leave space only in the first line. I don't keep leaving spaces every time. At the end of the day, we went home. I was really tired, but it had been a great day. I wish I could go back again. So let's see the writing after became all one piece writing. Can you see here the beginning, the middle, and the end? Can you see the space before the beginning of every paragraph? Can you see I have to leave one finger space only between the words? I don't have to stick the words together or leave too much spaces. So I want you to look carefully at this example, and I don't want you to copy the same thing, just to take some ideas and try to make your writing every time better. So now I want you to go and open any old writing you wrote before and check. Did you write the way that we said now, or there are some mistakes you need to make them better. So, this was today's writing recap. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have remembered everything that we said before in our lessons. I wish you all the best, and I want you to watch this video again.